Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. We've watched it, now we're going to talk about it. We are diving into our recap of the Vampire Lestat Episode 3, Toronto. You can catch our reviews at any time, available on most major podcast platforms. Get new and past episodes for free in the app of your choice, including YouTube. I'm your host, Tamara, and I love a good TV show and a good book, so if you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me pretty much everywhere at The Recap Pods. If you're into books, you can also find me at Shelf Addiction. Joining me today is show co-host Lisa. Welcome back, Lisa.
Hey, Tamara. Hey, everyone. My name is Lisa Orban. I am an author. I'm also the founder of Indies United Publishing House, and I love all things pop culture.
Do you want to tell them where they can find you?
Oh, I guess. You can find me pretty much everywhere at Lisa Orban Author or at Indies United Pub.
All right, so before we get started, we want your participation in this conversation, so please hit us up in the comments section on YouTube or Spotify, or leave us a voice message using the SpeakPipe link in the show notes. If you are new to the podcast, we are laid back in our review style, right, Lisa?
Absolutely, Tamara. This is a conversation, not a dissertation.
Exactly. No scene-by-scene breakdowns here. We jump around. And of course, a huge spoiler alert for everything, every show in AMC's Anne Rice's world through yesterday's episode, or this past Sunday's episode, I should say. If you're cool with that, this is the place for you. And let's jump to it. Okay,
All
Toronto,
right.
What did you think?
Okay, I am very hard trying to disengage from the book.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I don't think about the book at all, is actually a really good episode.
Okay, that's great. I'm glad you were able to do that and enjoy the episode for what it was. That's
And
good.
you?
I loved it. I thought it's the best one so far.
Okay.
So there were a lot of things that I liked. Some things that, this was a pretty heavy episode overall. We even got like a trigger warning on the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we needed to see this perspective and actually see how, like, Lestat lies to himself to keep himself as sane as he can, I guess. Like his own, can't just say all vampires need therapy, all of them. Like
Yeah.
100 years worth of therapy. It should be
Well,
required.
they have to. They are, everything about their lifestyle is completely effed up. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was a really balanced episode as well. So yeah, there were really points that were just really like horrifying to watch and kind of brutal, but those parts I think were needed, and I don't think they were overdone. I think they were pretty good. But if I had like one minor complaint, I'm really over the urinals. I don't need to see anymore.
And I don't know why they keep doing that, because again, in the books, they never, this is not something they ever do.
Mm-mm. No. So why? Why are we doing this? We know. You've shown us enough. We understand. I don't get it.
If a vampire is expelling bodily fluids, they are dying.
Gosh. Right. As they should be when they're doing that. Right. Instead of, oh, we don't need it. We don't need it. So please just stop it. Don't show me any more. We have like what? 4 more episodes, something like that.
Something.
Yeah, just don't show me anymore. I'm good. I think that would be my biggest complaint. Also, actually, I do have one more slight complaint. So I'm going to skip all the way to the end. And I feel like, so we knew that the actress who played Claudia was back.
Oh,
no.
yeah. I thought
we
you
knew
were
that.
okay.
No, toward the end, we knew that she was back, and I wish like we didn't know that ahead of time. I feel like the surprise of it was gone, or the effect that we could have had when he looked at, because like I feel like they were setting us up for an OMG, look, it's the lookalike that we heard about, but the effect was not there because we already knew the actress was on this season. Like, they coulda kept it a little bit of a secret, then we coulda all been like, "Oh my gosh, what?" But, that's just nitpicking, I guess. That's neither here or there, but it would've been nice if they could've just disclosed that when we saw it. But
Well, I mean, and I'm not sure if they're gonna go towards, because she's older than she was, obviously.
mhm,
Um, or is this just gonna be a human that looks like her?
mhm, I think it is.
So, because if they try to bring her back, I'm gonna be really fucking pissed.
No, I really think that she's just how a doppelganger, you know?
Uh-huh.
That's just what I think, and, I'm curious to see if they end up turning her, if she wants to become a vampire, like, is Louis gonna befriend her and kind of, like, or is he just gonna note that she's there and just carry on and leave her be? I doubt that.
Well, I think I did see her in, like, the next episode, you know, sneak peeks.
Mhm.
So, she'll at least be in one more episode.
As human.
Yeah, as human.
Yeah, I kinda hope that they don't do that, don't change this girl, into a vampire because every time you change someone, it just wrecks their lives. So,
Mhm.
just ask Dan, he is wrecked. His
Yeah,
whole life,
and
everyone that turns is horrible.
well, not necessarily. Um, but becoming a vampire is a lot like doing an 8 ball of cocaine.
Mm,
It doesn't change who you are, it
mhm.
just releases all your inhibitions and strips all of your veneer.
So, like, when we think about, I guess someone who's ultra self-absorbed, ultra, they're all about themselves, like maybe
Mhm.
Lestat, that just ramps up.
Yeah.
When you're very insecure or something like that, you're just insecure like on 1,000,
Yes.
like some people. So it just hopefully you're a well-balanced person before you're turned. Otherwise, just, train wreck every time.
Right. And because we all have this persona that we present to the world. And then we have our inside voice that we try really hard to keep, well, inside.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
vampires, it's like I said, it just kind of strips that whole social cushioning,
Mhm.
and they just do what they want for the most part, and they are who they are. To
Right.
in a way, it's their truest self.
Mhm.
So
Well,
so yeah, it's not that they becoming a vampire, at least in Anne Rice's universe, doesn't make you bad
oh, no, but
necessarily.
it seems like everyone's life is wrecked. It
Yeah,
just seems like no one has a good experience being turned. It's always traumatic. It's always, at least
Armand's
that's
wasn't. Armand's
yeah,
turning
but
wasn't tragic. It wasn't
eh, yeah,
violent.
I still think most of the turnings are violent. Most of them are without consent. I'm sure there are here and there. I'm sure there are some people that, have a quite lovely time during that situation, but I think a lot don't, you know?
It's it's about
So,
it's about 50-50. Like, um, Armand, his turning was not violent. It was something that he had been striving to become for many, many years. He worked for a vampire, an artist. And and Louis, his turning wasn't violent. His was consensual. Lestat gave him the choice.
I kinda it was consensual, but I think it was kind of also, he wasn't exactly clear-headed. So,
No, but he did. I mean, it's not like he had to decide right now. Lestat gave him time to decide.
yeah, that's true. But I don't know. I still think about all the other things here and like the stories we're seeing on the screen. And it
Hmm.
seems like a pretty raw deal for most of them. I'm
Yeah,
sure there's always exceptions, but
right. I mean, because like Lestat was definitely against his will.
Mhm.
He was scared and terrified, and that was actually fairly his turning was fairly close to the book. The book was a little more brutal, a little more graphic, but him turning like his mother, that was consensual,
Yeah, she
and
wanted it, but she's
she wanted it.
psycho. But she's psycho, so she turned it's even more psycho. She
Oh,
actually, I think she's abusive to her kid. So,
okay, I'm gonna tell you
um,
real truthfully, compared to the book,
yeah,
she is a lovable, sweet, just kindly sweetheart, okay, compared to her book character.
a
Her book
lovable
character is
sweetheart who sleeps with her son. Great.
in the book okay, again, in the book, they don't have sex,
I know,
but
but I can't consider the book. I'm considering what's on the
yeah,
screen.
but yeah,
So,
and she's in in the book, she was never in any of this. She didn't come in till, like, 2 books later.
mm.
So, yeah, this is her being there is all new.
So I kind of don't really like her character, but I kind of expressed that before. I kind of enjoyed watching her character more in the history versus the
Mhm,
now because she's just doing too much. She's constantly trying to like manipulate Lestat and like really just F his shit up, basically. Like,
mhm,
why was she doing that stuff during the interview? Why does she have to go off and, like, sleep with make the guy put the wig on and we're off? And why is she screaming like that? I'm watching that, like, why is she screaming? That is ridiculous. It was so fake and over the top. She's like, "Listen to me, everyone. Listen to what's going on in here. I am loving this so hard." You know what I mean? It's like, it was so ridiculous.
mhm. Well,
I
and then she's also the one that was feeding the information to make Lestat uncomfortable.
Yes, she is the worst. She's the worst person ever. Like, what are
Mhm.
you trying to do? What are you trying to get out of this? What do you want to happen? I'm not sure. And I mean, even if Lestat, he was so fed up with her at the end, when he gets out of there and he wants to, he's leaving, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna come with you." He's like, "Now pass."
Yeah.
He's like even disgusted with her. Like, I've had enough. I, I don't know. I don't care for her character. I kind of hope that her walking out of that concert is the last we'll see of her, but I don't think I'll be so lucky.
Yeah. Like, and like I said, I'm not sure what to make of her character because it's so far off, and they've taken just a ton of liberties with her. She's in the book. She's a vampire that almost all other vampires fear or avoid. She's terrifying.
Mhm.
Um, she's there are cults about her in the jungle. It's a vengeful demon. So yeah, she's very different, and I'm not sure that I really like what they've done. Actually, I know I don't like what they've done with her character
Mhm.
because she was, for all of her coldness, she did have one soft spot, and that was Lestat, but it wasn't in that creepy way.
Because I don't think she has a soft spot. I mean, even in the other episode, he had seen her, but like what, twice in 100 years or something.
In the book, he
So
hadn't seen her since shortly after he turned her in Paris.
yeah, and it seems like anytime she does see him, she's like got to get something from him or something. Like why? Their interactions just rub me the wrong way. Even like the opening scene, they're out there, poor newlyweds by the
Yeah,
waterfront. They just have dinner. Like, dang, how unfortunate for you. Wrong place, wrong time. And it was just, I don't know, just everything about that woman. Gabrielle, Gabrielle is the worst. I just want her gone. And
and
she's not the,
notice that
yeah,
they're not telling anyone who she actually is.
no. And actually, it seemed like he was almost going to tell. And the look on her face
Mhm.
when and he's like, oh, she's dead, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because Daniel's like, your mother.
She's right
Yeah.
here.
Right over there,
Yeah,
acting a crazy fool right there. That's
yeah.
her, but he didn't. He held his tongue, but I feel like it almost came out. It almost came out.
Mhm.
Actually, that interview, I have to say, I feel like Daniel is like pretty good at, like, trying to, I guess, evoke emotion out of people. I
I
th
guess I don't actually like his interview style.
Yeah.
He's whenever I hear him talking, all I can think of is sleazy tabloid reporter.
Yeah, but I think he was like that because, he again, I don't think he thinks being a vampire is what he wanted. He even said, "I wanted something out of this." I think he thinks he's not gonna get the interview he wants without strong arming to get it, which he had to strong arm him to get him in the seat.
Yeah.
So I think he was being aggressive by design, trying to squeeze what he wanted out of him.
Yeah. Which means he absolutely does not understand Lestat in the least. Because really all he needed to do to get Lestat to talk was flatter him.
Yeah. He's
Because
so conceited.
because think about it. He has done this entire radio interview or, on records. He talks about his entire life. He talks about everything that Daniel was trying to pull out of him. And he just naturally talks about many of these things.
Mhm.
So I'm really thinking the way that Daniel's acting and how aggressive he is and how confrontational he is what's making Lestat push back and go, "No, I'm not giving you what you want."
Well, it's, like, kind of funny because he gives him kind of what he wants, but not where he could do anything about it.
Right. And he does that to be hateful.
Yeah. And so, ultimately, he pulls, like, the trickiest mind trick on him, and
Mhm.
he at one point, you like, thinking back, you could just see where it cuts off. He's talking, it's, like, live, it's happening, and then once he tells that one guy to get out of his eye line of sight, that's when
Mhm.
he's doing the mental trick.
Yep.
And he does, he tells everything that he wants, but again, it's from, I guess, a nicer version because we see something different than kind of what he tells. So he only
Mhm.
gives so much, but he gets emotional, he cries bloody tears, like the whole nine. Like Daniel thinks he's got a gold mine, and
Mhm.
then surprise you don't.
Yeah. He has nothing.
Yeah,
He
and
has
it
the
was
beginning
so
of the interview, but there's not
yeah,
much there.
no. No, because 'cause they're sitting there staring into
Mhm.
space for 30 minutes, and I find that so odd that no one said anything. They just sat there and watched them for 30 minutes sit there like that? Very strange.
Well,
I don't
half
know.
the room knows that they are actually vampires and probably don't want to mess with them.
Mhm. Like, whatever's happening here is none of our business. We thought it
Yep.
was weird, but whatever.
Mhm.
Mhm. But yeah, Daniel, he's very, very angry now, even
Mhm.
angrier than he was before, and I'm curious to see how his character changes from here. Is he gonna be even more crazy to get this story or what? Like, what is gonna happen?
Yeah. I have no insight because they are flinging so far from the book. It's really hard to say what the I
I know, but isn't it fun to just kinda guess? Like, what could possibly happen? I don't know. It's so I like the unknown of it, but I like that, they could go a couple different ways with the characters, and I guess hopefully it goes the right way. I think he's gonna get the story in the end. I don't know how, but I think he's gonna get it. Um, a and I think they kinda indicated as well that he has a short life, but we don't know
Mhm.
what short means. Short can mean a couple years, couple decades, couple centuries. What do you mean a short life,
Right.
For a vampire, we don't know what that means.
I mean, and we truthfully don't even know. So when all of these records are going out, are up for auction, we don't even know at what time this
Right,
is happening.
right.
We know that, all of this happened prior to him recording these records, but those records could have been recorded decades after.
Mhm. Yeah, it's very true. Like, I think that's also kinda smart on their part as the writers and the producers to kind of like keep that hidden from us. I'm sure
Mhm.
it should come out by the end of the season. Uh, and I still don't know if that means Lestat is really dead or
Yeah.
not. Uh, so I
Well,
guess
and
we'll have to see.
because I mean, I guess it really kind of depends on if this is the end or if they're just going to take it completely off the rails and do their own thing, if they
Mhm,
do any more.
mhm,
Because every book after this, with a few minor exceptions,
mhm,
Lestat is either the primary storyteller or the protagonist.
mhm,
And without him, the books don't exist. So I'm not sure where they're, I think it just depends on how they're wanting to do this. Are they planning on staying close, trying to stay somewhat close to the books?
mhm.
Or are they just going to, do they want to kill off Lestat so that it basically gives them a fresh sheet to do anything they want with any of these vampires? I don't know.
I can't imagine they would kill him off. I just cannot. I mean, the fans love Sam Reed. I can't
Hmm.
imagine they would do that.
Yeah.
So that
And
seems like it's shooting yourself in the foot. Why would you do it?
unless they are planning, because they have utterly changed everything about Louis.
Mhm.
And he's actually stepping more into the role that Lestat had in his books. So it's possible they could kill off Lestat and have Louis be his substitute. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but
Mm.
they could.
Mhm. Maybe. I guess we'll have to wait and see, but I hope not. I hope they kinda have a fake out or something,
Yeah.
or maybe he's what do they call it? To ground or whatever.
Yeah, he goes to ground.
Yeah, because that would suck if they did kill him off. I don't think they would, but, I don't know. Who am I?
Yeah.
I just watched the show. Uh, so
And
back go ahead.
I was just gonna say, talking about Louis, he goes in and he gets his revenge.
So that, I must say, was really cool, although I did not know that he had the ability to fly.
He doesn't, but now he does apparently.
Yeah, I think that was kinda cool to see him kinda just float on up to the roof of the 2nd floor. I'm like, "Oh, snap, look at that." I said,
Mhm.
"Wow." And the thing is, though, and I know you have said a million times he's not very strong, but he is strong and fast in this show.
Yes, very strong, very fast.
Yeah, and I was shocked. I kinda knew, but, like, when Bruce came in, I said, "Oh, it's over for you." In 2 seconds, he had, like, that bones of that man's spine out in, like, seconds. Like,
Yep.
I'm like, "Oh, no." And I said, "Now you can't move. You can't escape. You cannot run. It's over." And then when he hit him, his whole jaw came away from his
Mhm.
jaw
His face.
split. I'm like, "Oh my god, he is not playing around." After he killed everyone in that house,
Mhm.
everybody,
Well, except for
except the
dinner.
humans, yeah, which he let them go because, he's
Mhm.
kind to the humans, but I thought that scene and honestly, the way they layered that scene with Lestat, like, experiencing his past,
Mhm.
that was very, like, wow. It was so much. I'm sure it was triggering for some people.
Mhm.
Uh, it was a lot. And they said after the fact they meant for it to be, like, as aggressive as they can make it,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
they did. And the fact that you have both Claudia and Lestat having, like, a horrible, horrible situation happen to them, and just putting those 2 stories over each other like that, it just really
Mhm.
made it really even more impactful, and I don't know, I was very and I guess we needed the relief of seeing Bruce get his against seeing that other story. It was like, well, at least
He
Bruce is
deserved
dead.
it.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
he got what he deserved. He actually shoulda drew it out a little longer if I was I
Yeah.
was but,
And another new power that they've given to Louis that he didn't have in the books, setting that piece of paper on fire.
yeah. I'm like, "Oh, shit, he just" yeah, I noticed those things. I'm like, "Well, he's fast, he's strong, and he has skills now. He's a much
He can
better
fly.
vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a much
Yeah.
better version of his vampire self now. He's yeah, and he looks great on top of it. Like, dang! But, yeah, I like that part, and I hope that, him taking out Bruce and, the Fang Gang or whatever, hopefully that really is able to let him kinda let that go now.
Have some peace.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he read that letter, which was, like or that part of, the pages that was
Mhm.
really, like, horrible. Like, oh my god. I think Bruce felt what he wanted him to feel before he died. Like, damn it. But he did leave, what's her face alive?
Mhm.
I was like,
Well, and
"Oh."
and there was also when Bruce basically says, "You don't understand," you know, and and indicated Armand had something to do with some of this.
Mm.
So, I'm sure something about that will come back.
Yeah, because, when he was sitting in that room, he said what, Armand was telling the truth or something on the wall,
Mhm.
and he asked him, he said, "What does that mean?" And then he just didn't he moved on from it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure. And then they used, the baby vamp or whatever her name is, I can't even think of her name. Like, apparently she was, like, a honeypot for Lestat to kind of trap him,
Mhm.
which was pointless because they did not get anywhere, which was interesting to find out that even if he were beheaded, he might not have died.
Yeah, because remember they had said earlier in the show something about we've what was it? We've studied it and they've stayed alive up to I don't remember how long now, but
Couple
for a
days
while.
or something.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but they did all that. They used that girl to try to lure him and take him out, but it didn't work. And I
Mhm.
thought, "Dang, Louis, you shoulda killed her too." I feel like you shoulda killed her. Um, but he didn't, and I'm sure she's gonna come up again.
She might. I mean, there's only so many episodes left.
Yeah.
And to get to the point where you meet the queen, you're supposed to be finding out a whole bunch of backstory
Mhm.
that is not being shared right now.
Mhm.
So, because part of it is Lestat finds out the history of the vampires. He's one of very few vampires that actually know how they came to be.
Mhm.
And none of the things that need to happen for him to find that out are happening.
Well, I just did a double check. They have 4 episodes left to tell this story and to have Akasha present herself at some point.
Mhm. And
So,
well,
yeah.
it's not just her. It's I mean, there's a whole history and it shows how the vampires are tied to the Mayfair witches,
Mhm. But, they could use that as a cliffhanger as well. We might not even get it this season.
you know. And uh Lestat, I'm not liking his music quite so much.
Actually, it's funny you say that. The song that they played at the end of the episode, where,
Mhm.
you know, the people leave as he's, like,
Yeah.
trying to sort through his feelings and shit on stage. I think that is the song that I've actually liked the most out of everything.
Oh, really?
I'm like, I don't like any of the other songs. I'm like, it's so I don't know. It's just sound like noise.
Mm. But
Like,
yeah, and because what helps wake the queen up is his music, which becomes explosively popular, where he's
mhm,
packing, um, stadiums and stuff.
well,
So
we
they've
haven't got
had this
there yet.
go yeah, and they don't seem to be putting him in that direction right now.
Mhm.
So, yeah, in the books, the music was insanely popular and eerie, and people couldn't they knew it was otherworldly, but couldn't figure out how, and it was mesmerizing to them.
I feel like they did the music okay in the movie version. Like, I
Mhm,
remember not hating that music. Like, and it did kinda sound ethereal a little bit. I remember some of
mhm,
the music, actually.
yeah.
It was pretty well done, I thought, but I don't wanna hate on this version either. I just know this isn't usually my style of music that I go
Yeah.
for, but, for some reason, that song I didn't hate. I was like, "Okay, it's not like I wanna be singing it or anything, but I don't hate it."
Oh, that's fair. And yeah, and him going on about, this is hard, and I can't even fill a whole stadium. I'm like, well, what the hell? You're supposed to be filling stadiums.
Well, there's a couple more stops. Maybe he'll start filling a stadium. Maybe something will happen and we'll get there. I don't know. Um, well, what did you think about learning about Nikki and the real story behind Nikki?
Um, I knew it, so it wasn't like that wasn't. I was more comparing it to how it actually happened in the book.
Right.
So, which honestly was condensed but pretty spot on.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, actually, it was funny how Gabriella was actually right about him.
Oh yeah.
She said, "Don't do it. Do
Well,
not
because
do
he
it."
was. I mean, he as a musician, he wanted to be more than what he was a decent violinist. He wasn't spectacular. He wasn't a virtuoso, but he was good.
Mhm.
And but he was slow in the book. He was slowly starting to lose his sanity because he could not achieve the greatness that he wanted.
Mhm.
And then when he did become a vampire, the music mesmerized him to the point of insanity.
Mm.
He wasn't stable.
Mhm.
He wasn't stable as a human, he was way unstable as a vampire.
Well, I mean, the way he was acting, basically when he said he wanted to be turned, I'm like, "Oh, no, that can't be good."
Yeah.
Like, chill out, dude, don't do it. And the guy went nuts. He, like, cut his hand off. I'm like,
Yep.
"Oh my god." And he
Well,
just
and
was
did you catch the part that so at the beginning of their relationship, Lestat was human, and then he became a vampire,
Mhm,
and then other because Lestat continued to try to be human and keep his human lover, the other vampires attacked Nikki.
yeah.
That's where those that's where all of those wounds and everything came from.
Yeah, I think he almost would've been better off just telling him the truth instead of, like, making up some stupid story,
Right.
because he really lost his shit, like, that
Well,
was the turning
Lestat was
point.
hoping that he nurse him back to health, and without him actually finding out what truly had happened, and just say, "Oh, no, no, you became very sick, and those were just," you know. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know, we jumped to that so fast. I just can't believe, like, after that happens, you go back to Nikki and just, like, act like normal? That is so weird. I
Well, he
mean, you
didn't.
were yanked out of your bed, you were asleep with him in it.
Yeah.
You're just snatched, and I don't know, that seems weird to me. Like, how would
Well,
you be able to hide that?
he Lestat thought he could, and Lestat did love Nikki in his own way. Not like he loves Louis, not like he loves other people, but he cared very deeply for him.
Yeah, it was
And
like first love, puppy love, right?
yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
And there was also the fact that Lestat wasn't he had no idea how to be a vampire. He had no interactions with any vampires. The one that sired him killed himself right after he turned Lestat.
Mhm.
And that's when they became rich because that vampire that turned him had been hoarding treasures from all the people he had killed and from other, he liked shiny things.
Mhm.
He was like a crow. So he
Mhm.
had there's this huge hoard of gems and gold and all sorts of things, coins, stashed in his lair. And I mean, to the present, Lestat has not gone through it all,
Mhm.
but that's where his money came from. It wasn't his family. It was from his
From
maker.
him. Well, I guess that's the least he should get, the very least, because that
Mhm.
guy, I I think that was unfortunate that he decided to process that trauma by, like, morphing it into something that it wasn't. He that song, "Your Biggest Fan," like, that is not what that was,
Right.
but I guess if you need to say that to make it better for yourself, I guess you gotta do what you gotta do, but,
Mhm.
um, yeah, it's kinda twisted, I think, and can I just say how disgusting Magnus is, like, if I saw that guy creeping outside of my show, I'd be like, "Call the police, get this man away. He's nasty."
Yeah.
I'm sure he smells like rotting.
He
Ugh.
probably doesn't he honestly, he probably doesn't smell like anything. Vampires don't. They don't give off a scent at all.
Well, he looks like he gives off a scent. I
Yeah.
mean, my god.
And I mean, Magnus was insane. He was he wore rags. He cared nothing at all about how he appeared.
Mhm,
Um, but the the look that they gave him for, like, his dirty teeth and everything else, he wasn't that's just, uh, not possible.
'cause I'm like,
Um,
"Dude, how did you look like that?" I thought how unless his teeth were rotted when he turned, but wouldn't they get better looking when he
yeah,
was turned?
as soon as you're turned, it cures all of your imperfections, which is why also I had no idea why, um, Lestat had a giant scar on his chest
Mhm,
because that was healed when he was turned.
mhm,
It will, blemishes and imperfections and bad teeth, all of that stuff. It's all you're turned into a perfect human in your form.
mhm.
If
Yeah,
you
so
had
that I
bad
don't like that.
vision, bad hearing, whatever, all that's fixed. If you couldn't speak before, you could if once you became a vampire, you know.
Yeah, I wonder if the show decided to make Magnus look as awful as he did because he was doing awful things, but I almost wonder, like could they not have a good-looking person do those awful things? They had to
Yeah,
f get someone looking as horrible as possible?
yeah. Magnus was always kind of a he was a mystery to most of the other vampires. He
Mm,
was a recluse. He always stayed to himself. He never joined a coven. Um, he wore rags, but the rags he wore were the remains of fine clothing.
mm.
Um, and he was dirty because he slept in the ground. Um, he didn't have a coffin. But yeah, so he was, and he never made. He'd killed a lot of young men, but he had never turned. He was looking for the perfect apprentice or the perfect vessel to pass this gift on to before he died. And so he killed hundreds of young men that looked very similar to Lestat before he
So,
before he picked Lestat.
you've said many times that in the book they don't have sex. So in the
They do
book, was he
not.
not assaulted by him?
No. I
Okay.
mean, was he picked up, drug around, fed off of, thrown into a
Yeah,
dungeon? Yes.
but he
Yes,
was
he
not raped
was.
by him.
No, no. He was
Okay.
traumatized by him, beaten
Yeah,
by him, but
yeah,
not nothing like that, no.
okay. Because 'Cause I'm like, "What the hell?" I mean, they try to just make it as gross and disgusting as possible and traumatizing for all of us
Yeah.
watching. Uh, I think that's very interesting that he actively hallucinates him. Um,
Yeah.
like, that's
And
not
that's new
good, like
and that's TV only.
mhm.
So
'Cause that makes me
that's
wonder how
their
many other times does he hallucinate him?
yeah. I mean, Lestat will talk to himself. I mean, he'll remember things quite a bit, but
Mhm.
he doesn't
Mm,
hallucinate in the book. So this is their version of his particular brand of insanity.
my gosh. So horrible. I think I don't know, he was definitely a victim of him, so
Yes.
that
And
sucks.
yeah. I mean that like I said, that scene was more or less fairly true to what
Mhm.
had happened. Um, but very condensed. They took out so many details.
But, I also think he was a victim of his mother too. I do think that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his whole I mean, his family, they were supposed to be, you know, nobility, and they were anything but.
Mhm.
Um, they had the land and stuff, and they had the money that they got from their tenants from the rents, but they were by
Mhm.
no means rich. They could barely, in a lot of cases, could either barely afford or did not afford a lot of the things that they had, a lot of their, their debts.
Mhm.
Um, his his brothers and his father were coarse, and the marriage was of his mother and father that was an arranged marriage,
Right.
and she was from Germany or someplace. I
Well,
can't remember where now.
it's his mother was a victim as well,
Mhm.
but she turned into a victimizer,
Yeah,
and that happens sometimes.
and like I said from the book, she was very cold, she was very distant, after, losing so many children and the life that she was living, she basically just ignored everyone and read her books.
Mhm.
They could live, die, or go away. She really didn't care as long as she could read.
Mhm.
Um, she wasn't actively cruel, n nor was she kind. She was just completely indifferent.
She's
She
just
did kind of like Lestat. Of all of her children, he was the one that she was closest to. Um, but, they didn't have incestuous relations.
I would prefer the book version of her
Yeah. She
because,
was just
again, I
she
don't
was
know if
a
they're
cold-blooded bitch, man. She really was. I
I
mean, she really didn't care about her family or her children,
yeah, I
and
think
Lestat was the closest.
that's better than being,
Yeah.
a molester and
Yeah.
sleeping with your son. So, I don't understand what the show is trying to do with that exactly.
There was I because they've decided to I think what they've done because they're trying to humanize the vampires more than they actually are in the book,
Mhm.
hence them peeing and vomiting and having sex, uh, but just exaggerated. I think because there was a connection between Lestat and his mother, and he loved her very much. You have to understand, in the books, he did love his mother much more than she ever loved him.
Mhm.
Um, she was casually kind to him, and she did, when he was older, did say to him that she hated her life and would like to go to a village somewhere and just be fucked to death by random strangers.
Mhm.
But it wasn't projected towards Lestat.
Mhm.
So they've kept some things and they've modified other things to, I don't know, ramp up the sexual tension.
I've said this on other episodes, just make it make sense. Like, if you're gonna drag me on this, path, if we're gonna do this, like, make it worth it. Show me what the payoff is. Just don't have me up here just watching this for no reason.
Right. And I mean, really, at least in my opinion, they didn't need to, add the peeing or the vomiting or the
Mhm.
sex.
Mhm.
I mean, they could have made it sensual. They could have made it, without it descending into the madness that we're in right now.
Mhm.
But I think they're trying to, like I said, humanize the vampires so people can relate to them
I
because
don't know why.
they're almost caricatures of humans, you
So,
know.
I feel like they're just trying to have shock value for the sake of shock value because, on one hand, almost every single vampire anything we've seen on TV, they all have sex. They're all super
Right.
sexualized. So I think that they are trying to put something familiar there. They didn't wanna
Yeah.
remove that because it's not familiar to fans and people
Right.
who haven't read the books, right?
Mhm.
Um, but the humanization by having them have all these bodily functions, we don't see it in any other series. We don't need it. It's just gratuitous, I think,
Mhm.
and especially after they've already made the point we know. So I'm not sure that's not humanizing for me. It's just getting on my nerves.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't particularly care for it
Yeah.
because that's not that's one of the things I really liked about her, Rice's vampires is they weren't like they were somewhere across between the older versions of vampires and, you know, a little more modern vampires, but without all the sex and everything. And again, they're very sensual creatures. They
Mhm.
like touch. They like to, but for them, intimacy is allowing allowing themselves to be bitten
Mm.
and, and sharing blood. That's their intimate moments, not,
Right.
not the rest.
Yeah. Well,
And the other thing is in the books, when a vampire feeds, they don't leave a mess. They never leave blood. They're
mhm.
not messy eaters. And in throughout this entire series, they've made them, more like pigs at a trough rather than the actual neat eating creatures that they are. They're perfectly adapted for what they're doing.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it'd be like watching someone have dinner and have half their food fall out of their mouth as they're chewing.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, see? When we eat food, it's not falling out of our mouths when we eat it. So,
Right.
when they drink blood, the same thing.
Mhm.
And so they don't leave behind a lot of evidence because there really isn't any.
Right.
And up until truly modern, forensic, it was just a mystery because they can if they um because they can use their own blood even to, they can take a drop of their blood and then they rub it on the puncture holes on someone's neck and they disappear.
Oh yeah, I've seen yeah. Uh-huh.
So even that the telltale sign, they remove that evidence as well. They're
Mhm.
just dead.
Right. Hmm. So I think the only thing we haven't talked about yet was that group therapy scene at the end.
Okay.
So I wonder, like, what is Armand doing? What is he up to, sir?
It's I don't know. I mean, he he's not the person he was in the book, and this one's way shadier.
So the guitarist guy, he's like talking about his woes and,
Uh-huh.
oh, thank you. I'm glad I'm here and not drinking myself to death or whatever. And, who wants to go next? And
Yeah.
then, you know, Armand goes, introduces himself as Arun. And then
Mhm.
he presents, he starts to, say something. And I'm like, is he gonna turn that man? What is he doing there? What is the point of you being there, sir? They better make it make sense.
I'm It's been a while since I've read the books, but I do believe the name that Armand used was the name he was born with,
Yeah, his original name.
his original name.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure. But that's kind of strange. It is strange, and I don't really see how he got there. So I'm hoping we get some, I don't know, maybe a little history into how he ended up there, you know?
Mhm.
I kind of
And why
like
he's
on one
following him.
yeah, like what is going on? And like in one way, I kind of feel like a little bad for Armand, I'm not gonna lie, because he seems like he is like forever and ever the third wheel always.
Mhm.
Like when he was they were showing that scene when they were on the like mezzanine area of
Mhm.
that, show when Nikki was playing and he goes, "I love you till it's that." I said, "Oh my god." I instantly when he said that, I said, "Get the hell out of here!" And he goes, like, basically, I need to get out of here." Like, "Oh, gross."
Yeah.
I'm like, I felt bad for him. I said, "Why'd you say that?" Like, I don't know. So I feel like he is forever trying to be first place to someone, and he isn't. Like he was trying to do that with Louis, by
Mhm.
lying and deceiving and all these other things. He wants to be so important to all these different guys in the situations and it's just like he keeps falling short. He's never it. He's never picked. That's what it feels like to me on the show anyway. And I'm
Yeah.
like, he's just not a good person either.
Well, 'cause
None of them are.
I mean, in the book, he's like 15 or 16 when he's turned.
Mhm.
And, so and when he lost his maker, um, and that was a terrible night for him,
Mhm.
um, there was he had to fight to prove that he didn't have to be put to death because the vampires do have rules not to turn children. And then which was part of the reason he was so against, and so upset about what Louis and Lestat had done, with Claudia.
Mhm.
Um, if the covens had been stronger, as soon as she had been shortly after she had been created, they in olden times, they would have descended on the 2 of them and immediately killed her.
Right.
Um, and Armand was right there at that cusp of where they didn't know if they should let him exist or not.
Mhm.
And also they had rules against, the very old turning, making new vampires. In their cults, it was the young ones turned the new vampires so that they started out very weak and
Mhm.
had to earn their strength.
Mhm.
So, but they don't really go into any of that in any of these shows. So, but yeah, in the books, Armand is he he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder. He's always because he looks so young. No one takes him very seriously, even though he's very, very old.
Right. I mean, honestly, so when I even think about him trying to, let's just assume he's using the guitarist Alex, I think his name is, as a way to get information about Lestat, right? Maybe he's trying to figure out what Lestat is doing through him. I don't know. Like, kind of just throwing things out there.
I don't I don't think that's it. I think he's not hunting per se, but he knows that Lestat cares very much for him. So because Lestat
Does
cares
he?
about him.
I mean, he's in
Yeah,
his group, but I don't feel like there's any um above and beyond kind of friendship between them. I think of course he would like to keep him safe, but he chose to run off. I don't
right.
think Lestat will be butthurt over it if something happened to him.
But
Um
but like I said, Armand, I mean, but Lestat does care about him, but he's no longer under Lestat's protection.
right, so what
So I
my
think
thing would
that's what's
be
got
it's what's Armand's motivation then? So if he's not going to like get a backdoor entry to like what Lestat's got going on, um he can't just obviously openly go and try to get in his business. He knows that. So what else would he be doing?
using the human to taunt Lestat, using him as a bargaining chip.
Yeah, I don't think he cares that much. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but just from what I've seen on the TV, I feel like the guy's gone, you know? Oh well. I don't think he would feel like he's not the leverage he thinks he is. He
Right. I
can't
mean,
be.
it like I said, it really is hard to say. I don't know what motivates the TV Armand or why he would do these things.
Yeah, so I guess is it him I guess that would be left up to the viewer, us,
Mhm.
to decide. Is he just obsessed still about Lestat after their fallout, or is he, like, trying to be more calculated? Like, what is it? Like, is it just
I
one
don't
of
know, but Armand
it
was right about something.
he was right about something, but what? What is it? I'd love
Yeah.
to know.
And I hope we find out. But like I said, because we only have 4 episodes and there's so much lore, and I don't know that they're gonna cover any of it. I don't, and if they don't, honestly, I'm I am pretty sure that you guys will there will be some kind of resolution, but I don't think it's gonna be as satisfying because you're not gonna know why any of this is important.
See, I the thing is, they like to do things at their own pace to keep people watching for
Yeah,
longer. So, I think ultimately they'll give us that, but it may not be in the order you wanna see it.
yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, it's a lot,
Yeah.
and because like I said, it goes back through the history of the vampires, and why the Mayfair witches are part of the Lestat, or are part of the vampire world in a way, what their connection is, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And
And
they
make
could do it. I
make
mean,
it
I'm
take
not saying they
seasons to
can't,
do it well, you know.
but but I know how things end, and I don't know how they're going to get there. Without Because without context, it won't make any sense if they have the endings stay true.
The
And so they
ending
may
of
just
this
completely
season?
abandon it.
The ending of this season, you mean?
The ending of the Queen.
Okay. Well, I don't think we're gonna get the end in this season.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I can't imagine them dragging this out. I mean, obviously, this season was a success already.
Mhm.
Um, so I can totally see them doing this for 2 seasons just
Mhm.
because if it's as much obviously, the books always have way more detail, way
Yeah.
more backstory. If they really wanted to delve into it, like you said, the proper way, they could not do it in 1 season. So, ultimately, like I said earlier, meeting the queen could be on a cliffhanger. It could be the last episode.
Yeah.
And then we have the next season where we start to get some of the history and all of that,
Mhm.
and who she is and where she's from and what's happening and all this stuff. Um, yeah, I could totally see them doing that. I could see them not even starting to really dig deep in this season when it comes to that part.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's too much, too big of a story.
And it is really, and here's the thing, it's a really cool story. It is
Yeah.
really a fascinating story. So
Yeah, I
I'm
see
hoping
that.
they
I
don't
mean,
completely discount it, because it really is interesting.
no, I'm sure they're thinking long term. They know, just like they did, just like AMC did with The Walking Dead, they know when they have something that's a winner. They're going to drag this shit out for as long as possible.
Well, she wrote like
They
20 books on the subject, so it's not like they don't have material.
Right. But they're gonna take their time, they're gonna add what they want, make it more entertaining for the TV, but from their perspective, they're just gonna
Mhm.
pick it apart, use what they want, leave what they don't want. And so it's always gonna be slightly bastardized as they do with most adaptations, but I don't know, I would be shocked if they started digging into all of that this season. It just doesn't seem like there's enough room
Right.
considering all the other stuff they're talking about.
Right. And that's why I was saying it's like there's just I don't see any way that they could do that.
Yeah. Hmm. Now, what would be interesting is if they continued and had another the Vampire Lestat season, or if they tried to swing it a different way and make a new
Mhm.
show, with a new um, person telling the story, new point of
Mhm.
view, which they could also do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Very interesting. So many possibilities. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I think it was the best one of the first three so far. So,
And I really did enjoy it.
mhm.
I think I don't know. I might have liked last week's just a little bit better, but I'm not sure. I haven't
Mhm.
decided yet.
Okay. Well, we have another one coming next week. So hopefully they can keep up this momentum, give me what I want, and get rid of Gabriella. That's all I
She's not
want.
supposed to be there anyway, so.
Yeah, kick her ass to the curb. I don't know. I never want to see her again. I'm okay if I never do, but all right. I think we've got most of the things. What do you think, Lisa?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so this has been a really fun conversation. Thank you for listening to the entire episode. We appreciate you guys for doing that. And don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're listening, because we'll be back again next week and you'll want to get that notification. Also, if you enjoyed today's discussion, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you're listening, because that would help other people find the podcast. So until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.